we would like to get rid of the denominators in an equation, so I want to find the least common denominator so I can multiply everything by it. Do you guys understand that concept? Do you realize what I'm saying there? No. Does everybody see it? I could give you a real simple example to show you what I'm talking about. If I had something like this, A over B is equal to C over D, and I wanted to get rid of all the denominators, I could say I'm going to multiply by BD on both sides, and then it would cancel, B would cancel, and I'd have A times D. I'm going to try to write D there. That doesn't look right. A times D is equal to, the D's would cancel, and I have BC. Okay? So, yeah, I guess so. Something like that. Okay, please. Quiet, please. Please be quiet. Okay, so that's what I want to do up here. It's just going to be more grand. There's more numbers up here, more letters. Okay, so, all right. So in order to find the least common denominator, I need to factor this denominator over here. These I can't factor. They're already simple. But this one I don't know about. So I need factors of 30, and it's negative. So I'm going to have x plus something times x minus something, because it's got to be different signs for a negative 30. And I want the factors of 30 that will subtract to 1, because there's a 1 out in front here. Okay, I don't write the 1, but there it is anyway. Okay, so factors of 30 that have a difference of 1. Can you think of factors of 30? Well, I know it's not 1 times 30. 6 and 5, that's better. 6 times 5. We could go through all the factors, but 5 and 6, we know there's a difference of 1, and there's that difference. And we want it to be a negative difference, so I'm going to put the 6 with the negative sign because it's bigger, and the 5 is going to be positive because it's smaller. Okay, so if we check that, we'd say, x times x is x squared, 5x, negative 6x would give me negative 1, and 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, so it checks out. And we look and we say, I think somebody either set this problem up to be nice or we're just really lucky, because we have x minus 6 here and x minus 6 there, and x plus 5 and x plus 5. That is really lucky. It's probably too lucky to be just by chance, right? Somebody probably just did this for us. Okay, so what we're going to do is multiply both sides by x plus 5 and x minus 6. And when I do that over here, everything in the denominator is gone, right? Because it all cancels, right? When I do that to this side, everything doesn't cancel. Okay? When I do it to x minus 6, the x minus 6 cancels, oh sure, but there's still x plus 5 that didn't cancel. So I have to say this times x plus 5. Okay? And the x plus 5 cancels here, but the x minus 6 doesn't. So I have to say times x minus 6. You understand? Only part of it cancels on this one, and only part of it cancels. So I have to do the other one times the top. Okay? But the good thing is no more denominators. They all cancel out. That was worth it, wasn't it? To get rid of denominators, no more fractions. That's good news, right? Okay, so now we have to FOIL. So we say 2x times x is 2x squared. And let's see, we have minus 5 times x, that's minus 5x. And we have 2x times 5, that's 10x. So I have positive 10, negative 5. So that means I have a positive 5x, because, 10 take away 5 is 5, right? I had two middle terms. I just put them together in my head. I hope you saw that, kind of, maybe. And then negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. Okay, and then I want to emphasize the fact that it says minus. So I'm going to say minus, and I have to use parentheses or brackets, because I'm going to FOIL this, but don't forget there's a negative for everything waiting on it, right? So I'm putting it outside the brackets. And I'm going to say, well, let me get blue again. I'm going to say x times x is x squared. And there's 4x in the middle here and negative 6x. So 4x and negative 6. Negative 6 is going to win by 2, right? So we're going to say negative 2x. And then plus 4 and negative 6, that's negative 24. And then we close out the brackets. And we say equal, everything canceled on the bottom, so I just have x. No, that all canceled. That canceled. I was going to write the wrong thing. So I just have the top left. So the top is 3x plus 7. Because everything down here is gone. I just have what's left on top. Okay? So let me do a couple things at once, if you don't mind. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3x from both sides. And I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Notice I line the x's up with the x's and the numbers. I wouldn't try to take the x's away from x squared, right? Okay. So these are gone. And I have 0 over here. So whatever I get is going to be equal to 0. And while I write this out again, I'm also going to distribute this negative sign to everything inside. So everything inside the green brackets will change sign because of that negative sign out in front, right? Okay. All right, so let's write this again. We have 2x squared. 2x squared. 5 take away 3 is 2x. Negative 25, negative 7, that's negative 32. I have a negative x squared now. I have a positive 2x. I have a positive 24. And it's all equal to 0. So I'm going to collect things that are the same. I have 2x squared and minus x squared, so I have x squared. I have 2x and I have 2x, so I have 4x. And I have negative 32 and positive 24, so I have negative 8. And it equals 0. And then I start looking for a way to factor this nicely, and I realize that that doesn't exist. Unfortunately, I have not very nice answers. So if I was going to solve for x, I guess I'd use the quadratic formula. I don't really want to do that right now. The one I give you will be easy to factor. When you get down here, you'll be able to factor it, and you'll be able to tell me the values for x, okay? This one, not so nice. And I'm sure you don't want to sit there and watch me do the quadratic. So at this point, instead of solving for x, I'm just going to stop and say, I'm happy with that, and just leave it there. For you, you'll be able to factor it very easily and find the values of x, okay?